Yes, where are your other classmates? Varsha, Pushpalata. Hello? No, is that some other class? Can you inform in group or something, your personal group? Because it's 4 5. Yeah, just inform. Yeah, message was sent, ma'am. Hmm. At least half of them can. Yeah, that's what sir also suggested. Half you can ask them to join here. Yes, you are allowed. How many are there total in physical science? Yes, Pushpalata. How many total in physical science? Okay, okay. So some at least few of them can join here, no? Just inform them, few of them. Yeah, just inform. So Preeti ma'am, the other class is Nino Mary's class. Get it? That. So only the problem. Hmm. Okay, just send one message to the group. We'll start the class. Okay. See, if like after 40 minutes, if the something, if you all are logged out from this class, then you have to re-log in. It's actually 1 hour class. Yeah. So we'll start. Can you recall what actually? Let me introduce myself. Myself, Ratish. I'm an intern from Vijaya Teachers College. Yes. Can you recall what did we studied in our last class of chemistry, physical science? Yes, anyone? Only few of them were there. I think you all were there in that class. Yes, Kavya Shri. Kavya. Okay, okay. So Pushpalata, were you there in last class? Okay, nothing. In last class, we just introduced the scientific attitude, characteristics, and meaning we learned. So today we shall study about the next concept. So we'll begin with the class. So I will be giving you one example. See that you listen to it and answer it. I'm audible. Am I audible to all of you? Okay. 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 So let's begin. So just imagine there are two situations where just imagine there are two friends studying in ICSE school. The two friends are in two different classes. Both are of 6th standard, 6th A and 6th B. So I have given you two situations, 6th A boy and 6th B boy of ICSE school. So is one of the character name is Raju and other one is Shamu. So in the 6th A class, Raju, let us say, this is example one. See that you read it and listen to it carefully. Raju is very much interested in knowing new things. I repeat, Raju is very much interested in knowing new things. Raju finds the different ways to understand the elements of periodic table. He makes his own notes, gives his own appropriate examples. Third, Raju won't agree to all the statements explained by the teacher. He will ask why, how. He will apply the scientific principle everywhere. Fourth, Raju tries to find out the cause and effect of every experiment. Let us say Archimedes' principle is demonstrated in the class. Archimedes' principle is nothing but when a body is immersed in a water, the weight of the water and body becomes equal because of the upthrust force. That is nothing but Buoyancy force we call it. So that is nothing but Archimedes' principle. I'm sure you have heard about this. So fifth is Raju will go home and will try the same experiment which was taught to him in the class. He will further reflect upon his learning experience and will develop a new knowledge in his pre-existing knowledge. In the next example is the Shamu. Shamu won't ask questions in class. He will just say yes teacher and he will quick point. Shamu agrees with all the statements told by a teacher. Shamu will go home and read the notes given by a teacher. Shamu won't do anything from his side. He is totally dependent on teacher's notes and ICSE textbooks. Shamu will just listen to teacher when she conducts the Archimedes principle experiment. Shamu won't make any attempt to try that experiment. Shamu believes that if a cat crosses the lane of a road while he is walking, then something bad will happen to him. So I have given you two situations, Raju and Shamu. Just once again you can go through it. I have given you two situations, Raju and Shamu. Now I will be asking you questions, you will have to answer it. See that you can unmute your audio and answer. The first question is, which character out of this Raju or Shamu do you like the most? Yes, you can answer. Raju. Oh, very good. Yes, Raju. So according to you, who has the ability to develop that kind of scientific attitude in them? Who do you think so, Raj? Why do you think so? Okay, okay, very, okay, very good. Excellent answer. Yeah. Anyone else? Someone else want to turn? Okay. The third question. According to you, who believes in superstitious beliefs? Shamu, right? Yes. So according to you, who has the reasoning ability? Raju. Why can you say? Yeah, just now you told me the answer, no? Someone told me the answer. Oh, very good. Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Very good. Yeah, yeah. That's what it's very good. So can you predict now what would be the characteristics of Raju? Can you list few of them? What do you think so will be the characteristics? Yeah, you have know the qualities, what he does, what he does not. So some characteristics, what do you think he will have in himself? Now you have told me the answer that he has that scientific attitude in him. Okay, okay. So you mean to say he collects some of the factual information, isn't it? Yes? Yeah. He collects some of the factual information. So any other characteristics which you think very good? He is a good observer. He may have curiosity. Very good. Very good decision maker. You think he will be okay? Very good. Okay, he won't believe superstitious belief. He will only believe the observed factual information. Okay, very good. And what else? He verifies the facts. Very good. Verification of facts is required in this scientific attitude. Very good. Yeah, reflective thinking. Very good answer. Anything else? Okay. There is one video. Just see that you observe it. You may get many other characteristics too, and you will also know some need of this scientific attitude. Okay. See that you mute your audio and just watch to the video. I'll be playing.
Michael and Eddie conduct an experiment in the laboratory. They make sure that they apply the scientific attitudes and values they have learned in their science class so that they will obtain accurate results. What are these scientific attitudes and values, and why are they important? Scientific attitudes and values are important when carrying out scientific investigations. These are adopted by scientists to gain and apply knowledge wisely. Let's look at some examples. Curiosity is a desire to know the answers to questions that a scientist cannot understand and always tries to seek, inquire, and discover. Cooperation is important in carrying out scientific investigations to produce good work and prevent conflicts. Honesty, especially in recording and analyzing data, should be observed to ensure validity of the results and acknowledge the work of others. A scientist should actively do the tasks assigned and be responsible for the safety of themselves, others, and the environment. A scientist should be a critical thinker, seek evidence to support conclusions, and question the inconsistencies in the evidence presented when they are doubtful. Open-mindedness should be observed, and a scientist must consider other opinions or new ideas, concepts, or criticisms that may help in the scientific investigation. A scientist should be persistent and should not easily give up, even if they fail several times. A scientist should be humble and admit mistakes that they make and recognize the help from others to obtain a better judgment or conclusion. In addition to these scientific attitudes, there are other values that should be practiced when carrying out a scientific investigation. These are realizing that scientific knowledge is a means of understanding nature, appreciating and practicing a clean and healthy life, appreciating the balance of nature, being polite and respectful, and being grateful to God for the gift of nature.
Yes, were you able to see the video? Yes, hello? Okay. So after seeing the video, are you able to list some other characteristics? Why do you think is this scientific attitude important? Or what is the need of this scientific attitude? Yes? Yes, you can answer. Yeah, in the video you have seen different points. So can you list some of them? Yeah, critical thinking, very good. Curiosity, very good. Yeah, should be very honest. Whatever you are getting the result, you have to accept it. Very good. Yeah, problem solving. He should develop that problem solving attitude. After creating, he just not should seriously think, but should develop problem solving attitude. Good. Yes, someone else? Yes, you can answer. There are many characteristics. At least you can list few of them. What is? Yeah, yeah. They are able to accept and listen to others' opinion. So that is open-mindedness. Very good. Okay, let us see few of the more characteristics. See, in the video you have seen different critical thinking as you have said. Reasoning ability, how, why, where, that has to be taken into consideration. Open-mindedness, as you have said. Patient, the patience is required to conduct any experiment or to conduct any activity. The people with this scientific attitude requires a lot of patience, and he should be persistent. He should have that curiosity, persistence in the sense he should never give up. He should fix to the experiment, even if it is a failure, you have to try it again. And then, as you have told, logical thinking ability it develops. He is able to differentiate between the facts and what are not facts, where there is no authentic knowledge in those facts. So a person is able to distinguish between what are real facts and which are not, which are fake facts. So these are some of the scientific attitude. We needed scientific attitude to develop all this critical thinking, to be patient, to develop some of the reasoning skills, open-mindedness, persistence. That level of scientific attitude is required. When you teach something to a person, it shouldn't be that it only stays in the remembering stage of the Bloom's taxonomy, of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. It should go to the next level, like understanding. A student must be able to apply his knowledge in his experiment. Student must be able to analyze the differences, analyze the evidences. Then only we can say that student has reached the higher hierarchy of this revised Bloom's taxonomy. We can say that he has developed that kind of scientific attitude in him. So these are some of the, because of that we actually need the scientific attitude. Seeing why do we need? Scientific attitude is the way of thinking, reasoning logically and clearly without any prejudice. It is necessary because unscientific thinking can create problem for the world. Science teaches us how to think correctly. It also tells us not to accept a statement as fact unless there is no authentic proof. For every discussion made or every statement that has been heard so far should require that authenticity of the content. Authentic proof is required, or else that factual information might be wrong if there is no proof. So a person with scientific attitude should believe in authentic proof only. Then only he should accept it. And people with that attitude will do it. So let us say now we have discussed about Raju's characteristics. You have predicted so many characteristics. But what about Shamu? What are his characteristics? He is not interested in doing the experiment. So who do you think should motivate him? He needs motivation, isn't it? So who do you think so should motivate him? Okay, very good. Friends, parents, all plays a very important role. But to develop such like scientific attitude, teacher plays a very important role. A teacher has to be very creative and skillful. Teacher can't just expect from the teacher just can't expect that the student has to be creative. So that creativity in students has to be developed by teacher. So the role of a teacher is very, very important here. So in today's class, we are going to study about the techniques to develop the scientific attitude among students. What is the role of the teacher? What are the different strategies that teacher should use to develop this scientific attitude among students? So we'll discuss one by one. There are different strategies so far I have listed. Coming to the first is interdisciplinary approach. Then effective way of communication, training programs. Only 10 minutes are remaining. In case if you are getting logged out, you have to re-log in again. I repeat, in case if you are getting logged out, you have to re-log in again. It's a 1 hour class. I hope you get it. In case if you log out, try to re-log in. Yes. Coming to interdisciplinary approach, effective way of communication, training programs, then analysis of wrong beliefs, effective use of laboratory period, inclusion of co-curricular activities in science program, planning exercises, making use of scientific literature, development of appropriate learning environment. Also, the project-based learning, collaborative learning, brainstorming activities. Yes, we'll discuss one by one. What do you think so you mean by interdisciplinary approach? The first strategy we are discussing, interdisciplinary approach. Yes, you can answer. Yes, what do you think so is interdisciplinary approach? Discipline is your subjects. Suppose you are a science teacher, science is your subject. What do you think so how you will develop that interdisciplinary approach in your content? What do you think so the interdisciplinary approach really is? Any idea? Yes, you can unmute and answer. Anyone? Have you heard about this approach, interdisciplinary approach? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, very good. That is what is interdisciplinary approach. When you connect your subject, suppose you are taking subject as let us say water. In your science subject, you discuss the physical, chemical properties of water. Somehow you will have to relate to the real life situation. Like environmental concepts can also be added. You can also include water scarcity, water pollution. So such concepts when you interlink with your science knowledge, with your environmental concepts, science and environmental concepts are interlinked, and those concepts you include in your content while giving different examples to the students. So that is nothing but it creates that interdisciplinary approach where science can be connected to social science, science can be connected to environment, and many more subjects also. So with this interdisciplinary approach will get the students will get opportunity to link the content to different to different to different kinds of subjects. So student will have some information about everything, and it is very much required nowadays. So this also approach helps in boosting the scientific attitude. It develops curiosity among the students. It develops interest. It creates that learning experience. So this also helps in developing the scientific attitude. Second is effective way of communication. What do you think? Is communication really required? The skill of communication, you say communication skill is really required in teaching. What is your opinion about this? Okay, very good. A good communicator can effectively teach. Only a good communicator is able to use those verbal and non-verbal communication skills perfectly. And that also has an added advantage. If the student is not listening to your class, is unable to listen to your voice, through your actions, that information will be conveyed to him. So that is nothing but effective way of communication, which is also helps in developing the scientific attitude. Because if the student is not listening to you, he won't be that conscious. Only through your actions, if he's through your actions, if he's able to listen to you, he will think about it. He will develop his thinking skills. or else whatever you are teaching the concept will be a total waste. So to boost the thinking level, then only that scientific attitude can be developed. So student must think first, that critical thinking ability must develop. So to enhance that critical thinking ability, you should use that effective communication technique. Next is about the training program. There are different training programs. Like if you want to conduct the personality development program, is a training program for students, so that students can develop that respect like skills, how to give respect to others, how to develop that honesty, how to develop some of the important values. Now, why all this honesty, values, and respect is needed? Because in future, when the student is involved in some experiment, he's doing some experiment, he must have that kind of attitude to listen to others. He should develop that divergent thinking ability. He should think from all the aspects, and also he should listen to others. He should have that open-mindedness kind of attitude. So, like personality development program can be organized by a teacher, and also the community living camp (CLC) camp. Have you heard about community living camp? Anyone? Yes. Okay. Okay. Very good. Yes. So community living camp, if you engage student in this kind of activities like participating in community living camp, where they arrange different kind of activities to the students, where students get exposure, students develop that reasoning ability skills, students ask questions to the programmer organizer, and student should be given that opportunity to ask any questions as possible, so that his curiosity is enhanced. So different training programs also helps in developing this scientific attitude. Moving to the next, analysis of wrong belief. As I'd given you example about Shamu, that if cat crosses his way while walking, he thinks that something bad will happen to him. That is nothing but irrelevant fact, superstitious fact, and there is no authentic proof for it. So this superstitious belief has to be stopped. So a science teacher must differentiate these two things. What are real facts and what are false facts? Just by telling the student that don't take much protein during the night time won't help. What are the consequences of it should be told. Suppose if you are taking any non-veg or items like dal or any grams which is rich source in protein, if you are consuming that during night time, then in the morning time you may skip the breakfast, because protein takes longer time to digest. You won't feel hungry. So it's okay to have protein during the daytime as compared to night time. So such things, just by telling that if you take dal during the night time, or dal rice anything during night time, your stomach will pain. That won't help. That is just an unknown belief. Yes, ask your classmates to join again. Yeah, ask your classmates to join again. Yes. So I was giving, is everyone able to hear me? Hello? Okay. So I was giving you example of dal. So if you have during the night time, so you can tell the students directly that instead of telling him that if you have dal or any non-veg item like chicken roll and all, during night time, your stomach will pain. Instead of telling them, tell him the real scientific reason. If he takes higher source of protein during night time, he may skip the breakfast. He won't feel hungry early morning. So such examples, relevant examples has to be given. Some authentic facts has to be shared among the students. Latest inventions in science and technology has to be shared with the students. How to maintain a good health diet, the scientific principles has to be shared to the students. This way, student must be able to analyze which are the correct facts and which are the false facts. He will develop that analysis thinking ability, analytical thinking, which is also a higher order of thinking. So such things has to be developed. This is nothing but analysis of wrong belief. Effective use of laboratory period. Now in any subject like physics, chemistry, biology, any science subject, laboratory that period is very very important, where students get chance to explore any Archimedes principle. If teacher is demonstrating, some instructions can be given, then teacher can demonstrate that Archimedes principle. Then student can try that experiment. Like this, he will develop curiosity. He will develop that hands-on experience how to conduct an experiment. After going home, he will develop that ability to reflect upon his learning experiences. So the science teacher should understand the fact that as a science is a practical subject, so laboratory period can offer various opportunities to the students to learn certain elements of scientific attitude. So proper use of time, making students how to take precautionary measures while conducting any experiment. If students, if teacher is dealing with showing some experiments with acid, like acid plus base gives salts and water, like teacher is performing the experiment of neutralization reaction, then student must be told what are the precautionary measures should be taken. Yes. Yeah, some background sound. Please mute your audio. Please mute your audio. Yes. So like this, effective use of laboratory period can be done. This also helps in inculcating scientific attitude. Sixth is the inclusion of co-curricular activities in science, like taking students to the field trip, to museums, to different science centers, where students are getting to see different innovations in science and technology. So students can develop this knowledge in already pre-existing knowledge. He will form the new knowledge by interacting with the people there. So student must be given chance to explore. So these co-curricular activities like attending museums, science centers will develop that kind of scientific attitude in them. This will develop reflective thinking. This will develop that problem solving ability. Student will be able to know what are real facts, what are false facts. Will develop that logical concept, logical thinking ability. The planning exercises is nothing but your assessment what you give to the students. For that, teacher has to come across various books, journal, even in newspaper. Teacher can read various latest innovations in the science and can bring those latest examples in the classroom so that students knows about the latest facts, and some exercises related to any new innovations in science and technology can be given to students as home assignment so that they also can investigate themselves. They can also learn by themselves. Those are nothing but those planning exercises. Yeah. So, any doubts up to here till 7 points we have discussed? Any doubts do you have, or you want to share anything from your point of view? Yes, or else we can move forward. Yes. Next is making use of scientific literature. Teachers should encourage the students to read supplementary and reference books so that this also by students themselves can learn about the latest discoveries. This also will create the amazing learning experience among the students. This will develop that reflective thinking ability, which is very much necessary to develop that scientific attitude. So making use of appropriate literature is very, very important. Developing appropriate classroom environment. Now I have one question to you. Suppose just before a lunch hour, you are taking a class. Just before the 40 minutes before the lunch hour is your class. So as a teacher, what do you think you will do to maintain that kind of classroom environment? As students will be hungry at that time. So how will you integrate your lesson plan in classroom? As a from the teacher's perspective, what is your opinion? Yes, anyone? Did you understand my question? Yes, anyone can answer. Yes, yes, Pushpalata. Pushpalata. Yeah, yeah. What you will do? Yes, yes. Yes, I can hear. Giving activities to the students. Yes. So is it a necessary just conduct performing some activities? You mean to say involving student in those activities, or just you demonstrating something, those kind of activities? What do you mean actually? Hmm. Yeah, active participation. You mean? Yes, very good. So if you involve, if the just 40 minutes before the lunch hour is your class, you can make students to involve in the activity because they won't be in that position to listen to your lecture that time. So you can use creative techniques to engage them in the activity. You can show multiple teaching aids. You can make use of audio video technology, which is also very, very necessary to gain their attention. Then only what you want to demonstrate, first gaining the attention, seeking their attention is very, very important. After seeking the attention, then only the second step is you can actually demonstrate or activity. Suppose if you are teaching the light as a concept, you want to teach light travels in a straight line. So you want to demonstrate one activity that can be done later. So before the introduction, part you have to just to be make them just to make them active, you can arrange some activity, engage them in some activity. So this will inculcate that scientific attitude in them. So this developing appropriate classroom environment is very, very necessary. Imparting knowledge. He should make sure, the teacher should make sure that all the students are giving due consideration to information provided by him and they are playing an active role. The activity you arrange has to be according to the mental age of the students, and you must see that there are no individual differences. Each and every member should participate in that activity so that observation can be done by teacher. And after demonstration of any experiment, you can ask students to repeat it. Like this, you will get an opportunity to test how much they have understood, how much they have learned. So creating that kind of appropriate classroom learning environment is very, very necessary to develop that scientific attitude and for effective teaching learning process. Next is the project based learning. After showing some demonstration, you can give project. If a teacher demonstrates something about nitrogen cycle, teacher demonstrates how to prepare a model of nitrogen cycle. Then she gives the activity. She gives as a home assignment or a project to prepare a model of nitrogen cycle. So this way the teacher can test how much students have understood. Or suppose you if the concept is, if your main objective is to teach students how to maintain a plant in school garden, so a group of some students can be engaged and how to water the plant or whether the leaves of the plant gets infected, how to take care of it. That can be taught by the teacher, and then that activity can be given to the student. This way they will get real life experience. That learning experience they will that learning experience will enter towards their long term memory. So like this is a project based learning is also an important component of developing that scientific attitude. Next is collaborative learning strategies, which include social interaction. You can use like think, pair, share method by grouping the students. You can group the student and conduct some role play activities. All the students won't be good in one subject. Some may have better knowledge about biological science, some may have better knowledge about physical science, some will be good in chemistry. Like when you group them, maybe two in pairs, like this, they can share the information and they can come up when you group the students and when you give a task to them, somehow they are able to come with that collaborative plan, with that collaborative idea. This forms togetherness in them, and that working together gives a lot of exchange of ideas. It creates that transfer of knowledge. So collaborative learning strategies also helps in the development of that scientific attitude. Last is the brainstorming activities. Like if a teacher wants to teach, teacher can just ask students that what do you think, uh, like teacher can give an example of a solid which is a state of matter and ask the student to label all the features that comes in your mind about the solid. So student will give as many as ideas they are having, like they have definite shape, they have strong molecular intermolecular forces of attraction, they are hard, like that. It can be related to concept, or else teacher can just think of one concept in mind and give hints to the students to tell them what am I thinking about. I'm thinking about some hard substance in my mind. Tell me. What is that? So like this student will give lot of answers. So like this, it gives lots of ideas. So lots of ideas is needed to develop that scientific attitude. You need to explore your ideas. You need to be conscious. You need to explore those different ideas. Yeah, please mute your audio, please. You need to explore different ideas. When you explore, yeah, please off your audio, please. Mute your audio. I am hearing some background. Some yes. So exploring new ideas is very much essential, necessary in building that scientific attitude. When you exchange the idea, when you explore, when you try out something new, so like this, that curiosity will develop. Like this, you many ideas will form in you, and like this, thinking pattern also will there will be a proper thinking pattern also. You will start thinking analytically. You will see the differences. So these brainstorming activities also help in developing those scientific attitude. So far we have discussed about the 12 the scientific development strategies which a teacher should do, which teacher should integrate those technology in classroom to help students to develop that kind of scientific attitude. So any doubts so far in this? Yes, any doubts so far? Yes. Okay. So your conclusion I would like to give. A child or person learns during this childhood, they become permanent qualities of his personality for lifelong time. So whatever learned in this childhood should will remain for a longer period of time. If you teach a child to believe in all those superstitious beliefs right now, then he won't develop that attitude. He will carry that same attitude and he will pass the same attitude towards the next generation too. So it's a duty of teacher to make the student to realize the difference between the facts, real facts and the false facts. So teachers should make such kind of arrangement in the classroom and in school that they can get maximum opportunity to get their curiosity satisfied to considerable extent. This means student must be allowed to answer as many questions as possible. If student is asking you question one, two, three, still you should motivate him. And if student answers something, you should provide some kind of reinforcement. That will also develop that intrinsic as well as extrinsic motivation in them. So motivation is also a very, very important. When you motivate the students, he will repeat the same work. If the experiment is failure, he will try with another experiment, similar experiment of the same type. Like this, he will develop that project-based learning attitude, experiment. He will try to experiment things out. He will develop that problem-solving attitude. So this is the role of the teacher. Teacher has to be very skillful and creative to develop this kind of scientific attitude among the students. And the activities planned by teacher has to be in very organized and in a sequence so that a any abstract concepts also student is able to understand easily because of logical sequencing of the arrangement of the content which teacher wants to integrate in classroom. So this was about conclusion. Now we are having one small activity. You can unmute your audio now. Unmute your audio. First example, Shushma believes that if she sits under a tree at night, some dead person will come and attack her. This is an example of scientific attitude, true or false? False. Yeah, why do you think so it is false? Yeah, very good. It is a superstitious belief. Second, Mr. Jones is a school teacher who makes an assumption and shares his personal thoughts to his students, saying that the earth will end after 20 years from now. The statement made by him has the scientific facts, true or false? False. Why? Yeah, very good. Very good. Good answer. It is just an assumption. It is not. It is just an hypothesis made. There is not a relevant source for it. No authenticity for it. It's not written anywhere. Not proved anywhere. He just shared his experience, his assumption, his thoughts. So it is false. Not a part of this scientific fact. Mr. Rahul is a science teacher who loves reading different kinds of books. Every day he reads recent trends and inventions in science and technology from a valid source and shares it with his students. This way he will able to develop the scientific attitude among the students. True or false? True. Why? Yeah, that will enhance their knowledge, that will develop, that will create kind of interest in them, curiosity in them. Patient reasoning ability, very good. And this will develop that positive thinking and will also help in inculcating that scientific attitude among the students. So these were the things so far we have discussed. We started with the importance of the scientific attitude, then followed by the different strategies a teacher should follow to inculcate that scientific attitude among the students. Okay, so any doubts you have so far in this, or anything which you would like to share from your side, or any points which I have missed so far? Yes, any doubts? You can unmute and answer. No doubts, right? So today we have studied about the importance of the scientific attitude along with the different strategies which a teacher should integrate in classroom to inculcate that scientific attitude among the students. That's all we did today. So this completes your that unit 2, that scientific attitude unit. So there is an home assignment to you. Last time I had given home assignment which none of you all have submitted. See that you submit both this assignment, you have to submit together. So home assignment is design a flowchart representation of various co-curricular activities. I have just mentioned about co-curricular activities. So which are those co-curricular activities? There are lots of co-curricular activities that actually inculcate scientific attitude among the students, which you will have to find out and design it in the form of a flowchart in a Word format, and you will have to send it to me on my mail ID. Or those who are unfamiliar in using those Word and all, Microsoft Word, then they can just draw that flow chart on their notebook. They can take a pic and they can mail it to me. Design a flow chart representation of various co-curricular activities that inculcate scientific attitude among the students. This is home assignment. No, no, to develop scientific attitude, there are different co-curricular activities. How, as a teacher, what are the different co-curricular activities that will help students to develop that scientific attitude. You have to just list out. You don't have to explain it. You have to just list out in the form of flowchart. That's it. In the form of a flowchart. That's it. You have to just list out at least 8 to 10. Depends on you. 7 to 8 you can list out. And you can send it to me on my mail ID. This is my mail ID, rats15best. Flowchart, anything. If you are using Word in that smart art of, yeah, yeah, yeah. So what you have to write is you have to just write co-curricular activities and just list out step by step. It is a one-way flow chart, step by step. Just prepare like that because this way you will remember. So only I am telling you prepare like this. Instead of writing, if you list out like this way you will remember. And from the examination point of view, it will help you. Yeah. So this was is my home assignment to you. So any questions you can ask regarding this or anything you want to share regarding this, you can share. Assignments you will have to mail me. This assignment and the last class assignment also you will have to mail me in this mail ID rats15best@gmail.com. Both the assignments. The earlier assignment also I have given you. Just check it. And this assignment, both you can mail me. Any questions or any thoughts you would like to share about this scientific attitude? Today we studied about techniques to develop scientific attitude among students. Anything you would like to share? Any doubts? If there is no doubt, then we shall wind up the class. No doubts? Okay. So thank you very much everyone for your patient listening. Yeah, we shall wind up the class now.